Okay, this is just a rereading of the text so that it's fresh in your mind. This is going to be a little bit faster because we're just going to move through it. I might ask you a couple of reminder questions, but for the most part it's just so that we could have it fresh in our mind for the next day. Okay, reminder again that this is an informational text, so there's going to be real facts in here, and the pictures are going to actually show the details about those real world things. Okay, tree is a plant. A tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them. How many do you know? This is a maple tree, conifer, persimmon. These are palm trees, and a lemon tree, and a willow tree. This tree grows in the country. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind it is? This is an apple tree. This apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. Have you ever seen an apple seed? Ask an adult to help you cut an apple in two. The seeds are in the center. They look like this. Most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. The wind blows leaves over the seed. The wind blows soil, that's dirt, over the seed. All winter the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter the ice and snow and is pushed into the ground. Okay. All right, spring comes and then rain falls. The sun comes out and warms the earth. The seed begins to grow. Okay, so this whole time it actually came from the previous year when all the leaves were falling, things were gathering on top of it, right? So it took a whole long time. And what had to happen first? Okay, it had to get buried into the soil, so it needed some soil, and it needed water and the warm sun to be able to start to grow. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. So remember, this is actually what it looks like with two leaves right here. The tree is very small. It is only a stem with two leaves. It has no apples on it. A tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. So you can see this girl over here. She's practically standing underneath the branches, and that was 7 years. Okay. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. Spring is apple blossom time. Okay. The blossoms last only a few days. Then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the tree. Among the leaves there are small apples. The apples are where the blossoms were before. The apples are green, and they are almost too small for you to see. The apples grow slowly. They grow all during the spring and the summer. Okay, so you can see when the blossoms fall off, remember the blossoms are only on there for a couple days, right? And when they fall off, you see just this teeny tiny green apple. That's really an apple right there, okay? But it's so tiny and it's just the very beginning of the apple growing. In the fall, they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. We can see the bark of the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat. But there is a part of the tree that we cannot see. Do you remember from our last reading which part we cannot see? You were right, the roots. We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. The roots grow like branches under the ground. A tree could not live without roots. So pay attention to this. Some of them are as small as hairs. They use this to kind of tell us that there are some parts of the roots when it grows out so far that they are like as thin as the hair on your head. Okay, so they use this as a comparison so you have an idea in your mind what that might look like. Okay, all right, roots hold the trunk in the ground. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. Roots do something more. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. The trunk carries the water to the branches. The branches carry the water to the leaves. Hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from water and air. They make food when the sun shines. The food goes into the branches. It goes into the trunk and roots. It goes to every part of the tree. So you can see here, this is the sun. Remember, it's feeding it, and so it starts feeding it into the leaves push it into the branches, and goes down to the roots and spreads the food out. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. Now the tree is bare. All winter it looks dead, but the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. So remember, the bark is the outer part of the tree, and it's protecting it. It's protecting the inside of the tree from all the cold of the winter. And when it turns warm again, the tree will still be able to do its thing. All right, spring comes again. Rain falls. The sun warms the earth. The tree blossoms and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms in the spring and apples grow on it. When do you like apple trees best? In spring when they are covered with blossoms? In summer when they are covered with leaves? In winter when they are bare? Or in fall when they are covered with apples? All right, so we are going to switch ahead a couple of pages here to this text, okay? Because on the test tomorrow, it's actually going to be asking us to compare these two. So again, this is also an informational text. It's called Grow Apples Grow, and we're going to learn a little bit more specific things about the apples that grow on the tree, okay? All right, the other thing that they want to focus on, again, is captions. We've talked about captions before as well. So these would be captions. We usually call these labels because they're just a single thing labeling a part of something. So we call these labels. But these are captions because they tell us information about a picture. So it's kind of giving us a whole bigger idea. It's not just labeling a part of something. It's telling us a bigger piece of information. Okay? So let's see what this says. Every apple tree starts with a tiny apple seed. An apple tree grows roots, which take in water and food from the soil. The apple tree also grows leaves, which make food from sunlight. Okay, so here it says that this is a seed, and this is the apple. This caption says, in the spring, apple trees blossom or grow flowers. So why do you think that they showed this picture with that caption? Yeah, it talks about how the trees blossom and how they grow flowers. And you might be wondering, well, what kind of flowers? How big are those flowers? What color are the flowers? So this gives you a big idea about what it looks like, and this is what it's talking about when it's talking about the flowers blossoming. Okay, here the flowers drop off. The apples grow in their place. Okay, so you can see how the apples, just like they were all bunched together, the flowers were, you can see that some apples just end up really getting all bunched together there. In the fall, the apples are ready to be picked. So this is just showing what it might look like when someone goes and picks all the apples. They'll put them in a nice barrel. Okay. People make many kinds of foods from apples. So here they give us examples of apple juice, apple pie, Dried apples, they'll cut them up and dry them, okay, and have like dried fruit. Okay, apples may be sweet or tart, or soft or crisp or crunchy. But one thing apples always are is munchy, munchy, munchy. All right. Go ahead and think about apples. Maybe you can go and have an apple today and celebrate apples.